There's a town in Kansas where the mayor will hand you the deed to land for exactly $0. Not a lease, not a payment plan. Free land with your name on it. Sounds like something from 1862, right? Like someone dusted off the Homestead Act and decided to try it again? But this is happening right now, in 2025, in at least 10 American towns that realize something: empty land costs them money. So they flipped the script. They're giving it away to anyone willing to farm it. But here's what nobody tells you. Free land is never actually free. Every single one of these programs comes with strings attached, some reasonable, some absolutely wild. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which towns are handing out land, what they really want in return, and why the people who took these deals haven't posted online in months. Not because they failed, because they're too busy building something real. Let's get into it. Number 10. Marquette, Kansas. Picture this. It's 6:47 in the morning. The sun is just coming up over wheat fields that stretch as far as you can see. You're standing on 10 acres of dirt that the city of Marquette just gave you. For free. Completely free. Your neighbor, a guy named Dale who's been farming here since 1987, waves from his tractor. He's already been working for an hour. The air smells like diesel and coffee and that specific kind of optimism that comes from soil that hasn't been touched in a decade. Welcome to Marquette. Population 641. Free land plots available if you qualify. Here's how it actually works. Marquette isn't running a charity. They're running an experiment in rural survival. The town's population has been declining since the 1980s. Standard Great Plains story. They had land. Empty lots the city owned after buildings were demolished or taxes went unpaid. That land was costing them money. So in 2012, they started the Rural Opportunity Zone program. Here's the deal. You get a free residential lot, typically a quarter to half an acre in town, or larger agricultural plots just outside city limits if you're actually farming. You have to build a house or farm structure within 12 months. It has to meet code. You have to live there or actively farm it for at least 5 years. The median lot value? About $3,000. Not life-changing money. But when you're starting a small farm operation and every dollar counts, $3,000 you didn't spend on land is $3,000 toward a tractor, seeds, or the well you're definitely going to need. Now here's the real story they don't put in the brochure. Marquette has one grocery store, no hospital. The nearest emergency room is 40 minutes away. The high school has 87 students total. The biggest employer is the school district itself. But, and this is important, the local wheat growers cooperative is still operational. There's real agricultural infrastructure here. Grain elevators, equipment dealers, feed stores, farmers who actually know what they're doing and will help you. A couple who moved here in 2019 from Colorado, former tech workers who wanted to start a sustainable vegetable farm, said this: the land was free, the education was priceless. Our neighbor taught us more about soil in 6 months than we learned in 2 years of YouTube farming videos. So what's Marquette really selling? They're not selling free land. They're selling a trade, your presence, your tax payments, your kids in their school system, your body at town hall meetings. They're betting that a town of 641 can become a town of 750 if they just make it economically possible for people to take the leap. The soil here? Rich, deep Kansas loam. Some of the best farmland in America. Wheat, corn, sorghum, soybeans. If you know what you're doing, this dirt will work with you. But here's the catch underneath the catch. Property taxes are low, about $800 annually. But your nearest Costco is 2.5 hours away. Your internet is DSL or satellite. Video calls freeze. Streaming buffers. The cultural amenities are high school football, the annual picnic, and a bar that closes at 9 p.m. If you need anonymity, forget it. Within 3 weeks, everyone will know your name, your vehicle, your dog's name, and whether you're a good neighbor. Marquette isn't for everyone. But if you're serious about farming and just needed someone to open the door, this might be it. Number 9. Plainview, Nebraska. It's 4 in the afternoon. The elementary school just let out. 17 kids spill onto Main Street. The gas station has exactly 4 customers. One of them is arguing about whether the county should repave the highway or fix the swimming pool first. The swimming pool is winning. Outside of town there are fields, endless fields of corn and soybeans stretching to the horizon. And scattered throughout those fields are plots of land that Plainview will give you for free if you promise to do something with them. Plainview, population 1,247 and dropping, launched their free land program in 2014. Not because they were trendy, because they were scared. The average age here is 47. Every year more people die than are born. The school enrollment has been declining since 1992. When a town this small starts losing people, it enters a death spiral. Fewer residents means less tax revenue. Less tax revenue means fewer services. Fewer services makes the town less attractive. And the cycle accelerates. So they tried something radical. Give away land to anyone willing to build. Here's the structure. Free lots ranging from 1/3 of an acre to 2 acres inside city limits. Larger agricultural tracts, 5 to 20 acres, available outside town for serious farmers. You must start construction within 12 months. The home must be at least 1,200 square feet. They don't want storage sheds with mailboxes. You must connect to city utilities. 5-year residency requirement. The agricultural tracts have additional requirements. You must submit a farm management plan. Prove you have access to equipment or capital. Demonstrate agricultural knowledge or a willingness to be mentored by local farmers. Now here's what makes this different from Marquette. Marquette had infrastructure. Plainview is rebuilding infrastructure. Their grocery store closed in 2019. Now there's a community co-op that's open 18 hours a week and runs entirely on volunteers. The nearest full-service hospital is 35 miles away. The school district is talking about consolidating with the next county over. But here's where it gets interesting. Plainview's agricultural economy still works. The farmers' cooperative elevator still operates. There's a John Deere dealership 20 miles south. The soil here is incredibly fertile. Corn yields regularly hit 180 to 200 bushels per acre, which is genuinely excellent. Translation: the farming part works. It's the living part that requires adjustment. I found a blog from a couple in their early 30s who moved here from Portland in 2021. Their names are Marcus and Jennifer. They took a 10-acre agricultural plot and started a regenerative livestock operation. Pasture-raised pigs, chickens, and a small beef herd. Here's what Marcus wrote in year 2. We got free land. That part was real. What they don't tell you is that free land still requires $40,000 in well drilling, another $15,000 for fencing, $8,000 for a septic system, and approximately 1 million hours of your life you'll never get back. We've also never been happier. Our kids play outside without supervision. Our neighbors brought us dinner 4 times in the first month. When our truck broke down, 3 different people offered to loan us theirs. We're not romanticizing this. It's hard, but it's ours in a way nothing in Portland ever was. That's the Plainview deal. You trade urban conveniences for land equity and community density. You give up Thai food delivery. You gain people who'll plow your driveway unasked when it snows. Here's the uncomfortable question nobody wants to say out loud. Programs like Plainview's only exist because the town is dying. You're not moving to a thriving place that's generously sharing abundance. You're moving to a place that's desperate enough to bet on strangers. Is that bad? Not necessarily, but it matters for expectations. When you take free land in Plainview, you're not just getting property. You're inheriting responsibility for a town's survival. The city council will know your name. You'll be asked to volunteer for things. If you open any kind of business, even a small farm stand, you become essential infrastructure. Some people find that suffocating. Others find it purpose. Number 8. Loup City, Nebraska. It's early March. You're standing on a 160-acre tract of land the county just deeded to you for free. The wind is blowing at 35 miles per hour. Not a storm, just Tuesday. The temperature is 28 degrees, but the wind chill makes it feel like 11. Your eyes are watering. Your face is numb. A tumbleweed the size of a Volkswagen just rolled past you. Welcome to Loup City, where the land is free and the weather has strong opinions about your life choices. Loup City, population 952, launched their land program in 2017 with a twist. They're specifically targeting farmers, not hobby farmers, not people who watched one season of Clarkson's Farm and got inspired. Actual experienced farmers, or people willing to apprentice under one. Here's the offer. Free agricultural land parcels, 40 to 160 acres. Residential lots in town, 1/2 acre to 1 acre, also free. Requirements. You must farm at least 60% of the acreage within 2 years. You must generate minimum gross agricultural income of $25,000 annually by year 3. They verify this. You must attend quarterly farmer integration meetings for the first 2 years. 10-year commitment. Yes, 10 years. This isn't Marquette's come see if you like it offer. This is Loup City saying we need working farmers who will actually contribute to the tax base and the local economy. If you're not serious, don't waste our time. Why this level of specificity? Because Loup City tried it the other way first. In 2015 and 2016, they offered free land with minimal requirements. Know what happened? They got 3 families who built homes, lived there for 13 months, then moved and left the properties vacant. One guy who took 80 acres and did absolutely nothing with it for 2 years. A couple who started a farm, realized farming is hard, and abandoned the project 6 months in. The city ended up with more vacant property than when they started, plus legal fees from trying to reclaim land. So they redesigned the program with teeth. Now they require a detailed farm business plan reviewed by the local ag extension office, proof of either farming experience or enrollment in their farmer mentorship program, where local established farmers agree to mentor newcomers. Quarterly check-ins to verify progress. Financial penalties if you bail before the 10-year mark. What are you actually getting? The land is phenomenal. This is Sand Hills region soil. Sandy loam over porous subsoil with excellent drainage. It's cattle country primarily, but also suitable for hay, corn, and specialty crops if you know what you're doing. Average growing season, 145 days. Average annual precipitation, 24 inches. Which means irrigation is not optional, it's survival. Summer highs regularly hit 95 to 100 degrees. Winter lows can drop to -15, and that's before wind chill. The wind. Let's talk about the wind. Loup City sits in a region where wind is not weather, it's a permanent resident. Average wind speed 12 to 15 miles per hour. That's average. Spring winds regularly hit 40 to 50 miles per hour. I spoke to a farmer there who said, "You don't plant anything without thinking about wind. Your barn orientation, your tree breaks, your fencing. Wind dictates everything. People who don't respect it don't last." There's a family, the Hendersons, who moved to Loup City from suburban Omaha in 2019. Robert Henderson was an accountant. His wife Laura was a teacher. Neither had farming experience. They took 120 acres of free land and enrolled in the mentorship program. They were paired with a fourth-generation cattle rancher named Tom Krebs. By year 4, they were running 60 head of cattle, had built a modest home, and were grossing $47,000 annually. Not wealthy, but solvent. According to Laura's blog, we work 80-hour weeks during peak season. Our kids, ages 7 and 9, do actual chores, not Instagram aesthetic chores. We haven't taken a vacation in 3 years, and I wouldn't trade this for anything. Here's the hidden cost nobody mentions. Free land in Loup City comes with a requirement nobody puts in writing. You must become emotionally okay with isolation. The nearest target is 78 miles away. The nearest hospital with a maternity ward is 53 miles. If you have a medical emergency at 2 in the morning, you're looking at an hour-plus drive, assuming roads are clear. In winter, when blizzards hit, you might be completely cut off for days. The school has 147 students, kindergarten through 12th grade. Total. The high school graduating class last year had 11 kids. There's one gas station, one bank, one bar, and a grocery store that's technically open but has the vibe of a museum dedicated to canned goods from 2003. Internet is DSL or satellite. Cell service is spotty. Entertainment is whatever you create yourself. One farmer told me, "The first year, my wife cried every Sunday night. She missed her friends, her book club, her favorite coffee shop. By year 2, she'd started a community garden project and was teaching canning classes. By year 3, when we visited Omaha, she was the one who couldn't wait to get home. But that first year? Brutal. This is where you find out if you're actually built for this life, or if you just liked the idea of it." Number 7. Beatrice, Nebraska. It's Saturday morning. The farmer's market is set up in the parking lot of the old courthouse. There are 11 vendors. 7 of them moved here in the last 5 years. 5 of them are farming land the city gave them for free. This is what success looks like in the free land experiment. Not just people taking the deal, but people staying and building something sustainable. Beatrice, pronounced Beatrice, not Beatrice, is the town that proved free land programs could actually work. They launched theirs in 2005, making them one of the pioneers. The program is straightforward. Free residential lots, 1/4 to 1/2 an acre, within city limits. Larger agricultural tracts, 10 to 40 acres, outside city limits for farming. Must build within 12 months. Must occupy or farm for at least 3 years. Must meet all building codes and zoning requirements. What made Beatrice different was their support infrastructure. They didn't just hand out land and wish people luck. They created a dedicated city coordinator to help with permitting and contractor connections. Partnerships with local banks to offer construction loans with favorable terms. A new resident mentorship program pairing newcomers with established residents. Quarterly community events specifically for program participants. They treated new residents like investments, not charity cases. Here are the actual numbers. From 2005 to 2024, 134 lots were claimed. 98 homes were built and occupied. That's an estimated $18 million in new property value added to the tax rolls. Population stabilized after decades of decline. School enrollment increased by 12%. That 73% success rate, 98% completed out of 134 claimed, is extraordinary. Most free land programs hover around 40 to 50% completion. Why does Beatrice work? The town has something many rural communities lack: economic diversity. Yes, agriculture is huge. This is prime corn and soybean territory with some of the best soil in Nebraska. But Beatrice also has an Exide battery manufacturing plant with over 300 jobs, a regional hospital with decent emergency services, a community college with agricultural and trades programs, actual broadband internet, not everywhere, but in town and expanding, a Walmart, an actual grocery store, and enough restaurants that you have choices. It's rural but not isolated. You're 40 minutes from Lincoln, Nebraska's capital. You're 90 minutes from Omaha. It's the Goldilocks zone. Small enough to be affordable and have free land. Large enough to have basic amenities. There's a guy named Derek Paulson who took 35 acres of free land outside Beatrice in 2010. He had a background in IT, zero farming experience, and a wife who thought he'd lost his mind. His plan was specialty vegetable production for farmers markets and restaurant supply in Lincoln and Omaha. Year 1, he lost $18,000, planted wrong varieties, terrible irrigation management, underestimated labor. Year 2 lost $9,000. Better planning but still learning. Year 3, broke even. Year 4, $31,000 profit. Year 8, in 2018, $127,000 gross, about $68,000 net profit. Year 14, in 2024, $340,000 gross revenue, $190,000 net profit. He now supplies 18 restaurants, has a CSA program with 140 members, and employs 3 full-time workers. His quote from a local news interview: "The free land gave me permission to fail. If I'd bought that land for $100,000, I would have quit in year 2 when the losses hit. But because my initial investment was just sweat and time, I could afford to learn. That's the real value. It's not the land, it's the runway to figure out what you're doing." Here's what life actually feels like in Beatrice. You wake up on a Tuesday. Your kids walk to school. Actually walk, unsupervised, because crime is virtually non-existent and everyone knows everyone. You drive 10 minutes to your farm plot. You work until noon. You grab lunch at the Main Street diner where they know your order. You spend the afternoon at the co-op talking to other farmers. At night, you're back home by 5:30. No commute, no traffic. You have a backyard. Your mortgage or property taxes is $600 a month. You're saving money for the first time in your adult life. But the cultural amenities are high school sports and church. The nightlife is a bar that closes at 10 p.m. If you want live music, art galleries, or food that isn't American or Mexican, you're driving to Lincoln. Beatrice represents the ceiling of free land programs in terms of livability. Everything that ranks higher than Beatrice on this list is going to be more remote, more challenging, or have stranger requirements. Number 6. Manilla, Iowa. Manilla has free land. But to get it, you have to agree to something so specific that when I first read it, I thought it was a typo. You have to agree to adopt a municipal tree, not plant one, adopt one. The town assigns you an existing tree in the public right-of-way, and you're responsible for its care, watering during drought, reporting disease, making sure it doesn't die from neglect for the entire time you live there. Welcome to the weirdest free land program in America. Manilla, population 796, launched their program in 2018 with a very Iowa twist. Environmental stewardship requirements. Here's the deal. Free residential lots, 0.3 to 0.75 acres. Free agricultural parcels, 15 to 50 acres for serious farming operations. Standard requirements: build within 18 months, 5-year residency minimum. Unique requirement: participate in the town's Green Manilla initiative, which includes tree adoption and care. Commitment to rain garden or native pollinator plantings on your property. Agreement to avoid chemical lawn treatments within city limits. Participation in annual town cleanup and tree planting days. When I called the city clerk, a woman named Rhonda, who's held the position since 1994, she explained, "We had 2 choices: become another dying farm town or become something different. We chose different. We're building a town for people who care about sustainability, community, and land stewardship." If that sounds hippie-ish, fine. But our program has a 91% completion rate, and our new residents actually stay. Who does this attract? Manilla's program has created a fascinating demographic shift. They're attracting young farmers interested in regenerative agriculture, mob grazing, no-till, cover crops. Remote workers from Des Moines and Omaha who want land but also want to feel like they're part of something meaningful. Retirees from environmental or education backgrounds. Families fleeing suburban conformity who want their kids to grow up different. The agricultural land here is spectacular. Deep, black Iowa topsoil that's among the best in the world. Corn and soybean yields regularly exceed state averages. But the new wave of farmers isn't just doing conventional ag, they're doing organic vegetable production, pastured poultry and pork, cut flower operations, native seed production for prairie restoration. One farmer, a guy in his 30s named Alex Chen, who left a software job in San Francisco, told me this: "I took 40 acres of free land in Manilla because it was the only place that explicitly wanted farmers thinking about soil health and biodiversity, not just yield maximization." The tree adoption thing seemed weird at first, but it's actually brilliant. It's a filter. It signals the town's values. People who roll their eyes at hugging a tree don't apply. People who get it do. Manilla has developed a reputation among other small Iowa towns as that granola place. Some people say it affectionately, others say it like an accusation. The town has a community solar garden, a seed library at the public library, A monthly repair cafe where people fix broken items instead of throwing them away. A rule against chain restaurants. There's a legal challenge to this, but it's held so far. More bike lanes than most Iowa towns, 5 times its size. For some people, this is utopia. For others, it's performative and insufferable. One Reddit thread about Manila devolved into a 200-comment argument between someone who called it the future of rural America and someone else who called it, what happens when people who've never driven a tractor try to cosplay farming? But here's the thing. The numbers don't lie. 91% completion rate, low turnover, new businesses opening, school enrollment stable and even growing slightly. Manila isn't for everyone, but for the people it is for, it's working better than almost any other program on this list. The catch? You have to actually care about the values they're promoting. If you think sustainability is a buzzword and composting is silly, you'll be miserable here. The community will make sure of it. But if you've been looking for a place where your farming practices align with community values, where your kids can learn about ecology in school and practice it at home, where the farmer's market isn't just a place to sell vegetables but a actual community hub, Manila might be exactly what you're looking for. Number 5. Lincoln, Kansas. Lincoln, Kansas has free land, but before you get excited, you need to know something. This town has a population of 126 people. 126. That's not a neighborhood. That's barely a wedding. But here's why it's number 5 on this list. Lincoln represents something important. The extreme edge of the free land opportunity. The program is simple. Free lots. Multiple sizes available. Agricultural parcels up to 80 acres. Requirements? Build something, live there or farm it. That's basically it. They're not picky. They can't afford to be. Lincoln is dying, not slowly. Quickly. The school closed in 2018. There's no grocery store, no gas station, no post office anymore. The nearest services are in towns 20 to 30 miles away. So why would anyone move here? 2 reasons. 1, the land itself. This is prime wheat country. If you know dryland farming, if you understand how to work with minimal rainfall and maximize every bushel, this soil will reward you. The area has some of the lowest land costs in Kansas, and free is even better. 2, complete freedom. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares what you build or how you farm or what your lifestyle looks like. You want to live off grid? Go ahead. You want to try experimental agriculture? Nobody's stopping you. You want to build a house out of shipping containers and raise alpacas? The zoning board doesn't meet anymore, so you're basically good. This is for people who want maximum autonomy and minimum oversight. But let's be very clear about what you're signing up for. You will be isolated. Not Loup City isolated, Lincoln isolated. The kind where if your car breaks down and your phone has no signal, you're walking. The kind where if you have a medical emergency, the ambulance is coming from 45 minutes away, assuming they can find you. You will have no community infrastructure. No school for your kids unless you homeschool or drive them an hour each way. No library, no community center, no organized anything. You will be completely self-reliant. Your water, your power, your waste management, your internet, all of it is on you. But here's the wild part. There are people doing this, and some of them are thriving. I found a couple, early 40s, who moved to Lincoln in 2020 from Denver. They took 60 acres, built a solar-powered homestead. They're raising heritage breed cattle, growing vegetables in hoop houses, and selling beef and produce to restaurants in Salina and Manhattan, Kansas. Their blog post from year 3 said this: "We have never worked harder. We have never been more tired. We have also never been more free. Our kids, homeschooled, can recite the names of native grasses, identify animal tracks, and rebuild a carburetor. We see more stars than people. Our closest neighbor is 3 miles away. Once a week, we drive to civilization for supplies, and remember why we left. This isn't for everyone. It's barely for us on the hard days. But it's ours in a way nothing else has ever been." That's Lincoln. Maximum freedom. Maximum difficulty. If you need people, don't move here. If you need services, don't move here. If you need the option to change your mind easily, don't move here. But if you've always wanted to see what you're actually capable of when every system is on you, when there's no safety net and no backup plan, Lincoln will show you. The land is free. The education is brutal. The reward, if you make it, is becoming someone most people will never understand. Number 4. Marne, Iowa. Marne, Iowa will give you free land. But first, you have to survive the application process, which includes a formal interview with the city council, 3 references from people who can vouch for your character, and a written statement explaining why you want to live in a town of 114 people. Yes. 114. This is the most selective free land program in America. Here's why. Marne got burned. In the early 2000s, they tried a simple free land program, no requirements, no vetting, just take it and build. What happened? People took the land, built minimal structures to meet technical requirements, then disappeared. The town was left with abandoned properties that looked worse than empty lots. So in 2015, they redesigned the program. Now it's invitation only. Sort of, you can apply. But the city council reviews every application personally. They're looking for specific things: evidence of financial stability, references that actually mean something, a coherent plan for what you'll do with the land, and most importantly, signs that you understand what small town life actually means and you're willing to participate. One council member, a farmer named Robert Grell, who's lived in Marne his entire 72 years, told a reporter, "We're not looking for people who want cheap land. We're looking for people who want to be part of something. If you're not willing to show up to the volunteer fire department, help with the town festival, and be a neighbor, we don't want you here." The program offers free lots, half an acre to 3 acres. Agricultural tracts up to 100 acres for farming. Requirements include build within 24 months, live there or actively farm for 10 years, participate in community events, and contribute to town infrastructure projects. That last one is interesting. Marne requires new residents to contribute at least 20 hours per year to town improvement projects, painting the community center, helping with street repair, whatever needs doing. It's not just free land, it's a membership with dues. Who does this work for? People who are already looking for deep community, families who want their kids to grow up in a place where everyone knows everyone, and that's a feature, not a bug. Farmers who value mentorship and collaboration over competition. Retirees who want to give back and be useful. It doesn't work for people who want privacy, anonymity, or the option to not participate. The success rate here is remarkable. Since the redesigned program launched in 2015, they've accepted 12 families. All 12 are still there. All 12 built homes or farm operations. All 12 are active in the community. Marne figured out something most towns miss. Free land doesn't build community, intentional selection does. The agricultural land here is excellent. Classic Iowa soil, corn, soybeans, oats, average yields well above national standards. The growing season is solid. 170 days, plenty of rain. Good infrastructure for grain storage and transport. But the real value isn't the land, it's the social capital. One family that moved there in 2018 from Chicago wrote on their blog, "We thought we wanted space. Turns out we wanted neighbors who actually cared whether we were okay. When we had a baby, 6 different families brought meals. When our barn roof collapsed in a storm, 15 people showed up the next morning to help rebuild. We didn't ask, they just came." You can't buy that. Marne is tiny, almost non-existent on a map. But it's functioning in a way that towns 10 times its size aren't. The catch? You have to want what they're offering. If the idea of a formal interview and character references feels invasive, this isn't for you. If 20 hours of community service feels like a burden, this isn't for you. But if you've been looking for a place where people still care about each other, where your contribution matters, where your kids can grow up knowing they're part of something bigger than themselves, Marne is offering something rare. Free land, yes, but also something most Americans have lost: belonging. Number 3. Flagler, Colorado. Flagler sits on the high plains of eastern Colorado, population 582, the kind of place where the sky is so big it feels like you're standing on a different planet. The wind never stops. The horizon is uninterrupted. You can see weather coming from 30 miles away. And yes, they'll give you land for free. But Flagler's program comes with a requirement nobody saw coming. You have to agree to not sue the town if your crops fail due to drought. Yes, really. Here's why. Eastern Colorado is semi-arid. Annual rainfall averages just 15 to 17 inches. Some years, it's less. Way less. This is dryland farming territory, which means no irrigation in most cases. You're completely dependent on rainfall. The town learned the hard way that people from wetter climates would move here, try to farm, fail due to lack of water, then blame the town for not disclosing the risk, even though the risk is obvious to anyone who understands high plains agriculture. So now the program requires applicants to sign a waiver acknowledging the climate risks and agreeing not to hold the town liable for agricultural failures. It's the most honest free land program in America. The offer is straightforward. Free agricultural parcels, 40 to 160 acres. Residential lots in town, quarter to half acre. Requirements include build or farm within 18 months, 5-year minimum commitment, and the drought waiver. What kind of farming works here? Wheat, primarily. Dryland wheat is what this region was built on. You plant in the fall, hope for snow cover, hope for spring rain, and harvest in June or July. Yields are lower than irrigated land, but costs are also lower. No irrigation equipment, no water bills. Just you, the soil, and the sky. Some farmers also do cattle, grazing on native grassland. The land can support about 1 cow-calf pair per 20 to 30 acres, which is low density but sustainable. The key is understanding the economics of dryland farming. You're not going to get rich, but you can make a living if you keep costs low and expectations realistic. The town has about 600 people. There's a grocery store, a couple of gas stations, a school that goes through 12th grade, a community hospital with basic services. It's more functional than Lincoln, less developed than Beatrice. Right in the middle. One farmer who moved here from Iowa in 2017 said this in an interview with a farming magazine. I grew up in Iowa, where we expected 40 inches of rain and 180 bushel corn. Moving to Flagler was a mindset shift. You celebrate 15 inches of rain. You're happy with 35 bushel wheat. But the land was free. My operating costs are a fraction of what they were, and I own it outright. In Iowa, I was renting and losing money. Here, I'm building equity every year. That's the Flagler value proposition. Lower yields, lower costs, actual ownership. The climate is harsh. Summer highs regularly hit the mid-90s. Winter lows can drop to -10% or worse. The wind is constant. Dust storms are real. If you've never experienced high plains wind, it's hard to explain. It's not violent, it's relentless. It wears on you psychologically. But the people who thrive here are a specific type. Independent, comfortable with risk, able to go long periods without external validation. One woman who homesteads 40 acres outside Flagler with her husband wrote on her blog, "We moved here because we wanted to see if we could actually do it. Live on land we owned. Grow our own food, raise our own meat. Not because we had to, because we wanted to know if we could. The first year was hell, the second year was hard. The third year, something clicked. Now, I can't imagine living any other way." Flagler isn't offering you easy. It's offering you honest. The land is free. The climate is difficult. The support system is minimal. The reward is complete ownership of something real. If you need guarantees, this isn't it. If you need constant rainfall, look elsewhere. But if you want to test yourself against something unforgiving and see what you're made of, Flagler is waiting. Number 2. Curtis, Nebraska. Curtis, Nebraska will give you free land. But only if you're willing to go to school. Literally. Curtis is home to the Nebraska College of Technical Agriculture, and their free land program is designed specifically to attract students and graduates of agricultural programs who want to start farming operations. Here's how it works. If you're enrolled in an ag program, any accredited ag program in the country, you can apply for free land in Curtis. The requirements are, you must be actively pursuing an agriculture degree or certificate, you must submit a farm business plan, you must build or begin farming operations within 2 years of graduation, and you must maintain the operation for at least 7 years. The program offers agricultural parcels from 20 to 120 acres. Residential lots in town for those who want to live in Curtis and farm nearby. This is the most strategic free land program in America. Curtis realized something. Random people moving to farm usually fail. People with actual agricultural education have a much higher success rate. So instead of hoping for the best, they're specifically recruiting trained farmers. The college provides resources, access to equipment, mentorship from faculty, continuing education, business planning support. It's not just free land, it's a complete support system. The success rate reflects this. Of the 18 participants who've completed the program since it launched in 2016, 16 are still farming. That's an 89% success rate. One graduate, a woman named Sarah Montero who grew up in suburban Denver with zero farming background, took this path. She enrolled in the Ag G program at Curtis, earned a 2-year degree in livestock management, took 80 acres of free land and now runs a grass-fed beef operation. Her quote from a podcast interview. "Without this program, I never would have been able to start farming. Land prices everywhere else were insane. Banks won't loan to new farmers without collateral. Curtis gave me land, education, and mentorship. 5 years in, I'm profitable. I employ 2 part-time workers during busy seasons. I supply beef to restaurants in Omaha and Lincoln. None of that happens without free land and actual training." The town itself has about 900 people. It's anchored by the college, which provides stability most small towns don't have. There's a grocery store, medical clinic, school system, basic services. The agricultural land is excellent. This is Sandhills region, perfect for grazing. Some cropland, mostly used for hay and pasture. The climate is standard Nebraska. Hot summers, cold winters, enough moisture to make things grow if you manage it right. What makes Curtis different from every other program on this list is the education component. They're not just giving away land, they're investing in your success. The catch is you have to actually commit to the education. You can't just show up, grab land, and wing it. You have to complete coursework. You have to develop a real business plan. You have to demonstrate competency. For some people, that's a barrier. For others, it's exactly what they need. If you've always wanted to farm but had no idea how to start, Curtis is offering you a path. Free land, plus education, plus mentorship. That combination is almost unheard of. The 7-year commitment is significant. But by year 7, you're not a beginner anymore. You're an established farmer with equity, experience, and a functioning operation. Curtis is betting that if they give you the tools and the land, you'll build something that lasts. And so far, they're right. Number 1. Munda, Kansas. Munda, Kansas is so small it doesn't appear on most maps. Population 43. Yes, 43 people. And they'll give you up to 320 acres of land for free. 320 acres. For free. That's half a section. That's enough land to run a legitimate farming operation. That's the kind of acreage people save for decades to afford. And Munda is giving it away. Here's why. Munda is the last stop before extinction. The school closed in 2004. The post office closed in 2011. There's no businesses, no services, nothing. The county owns thousands of acres of land that reverted to public ownership after decades of tax delinquency and abandonment. That land is costing the county money to maintain. So they created the most aggressive free land program in American history. The offer is this: agricultural parcels up to 320 acres, residential lots in town, though the town barely exists. Requirements: you must develop a functioning farm operation within 3 years, you must generate minimum gross income of $50,000 annually by year 5, and you must commit to 15 years. 15 years. This is not for experimenters, this is not for people testing the waters, this is for people who want to build a multi-generational farming legacy and need land to do it. The catch is everything else. Munda has no infrastructure, no water system, no sewer, no reliable electricity and parts. You're building from scratch. Your nearest grocery store is 38 miles away. Your nearest hospital is 47 miles. Your nearest town with actual services is over an hour. You are completely on your own. But if you can handle that, if you have the capital to develop the infrastructure, if you have the knowledge to farm successfully, Munda is offering something that doesn't exist anywhere else in America. 320 acres of free land with almost no restrictions on how you use it. The soil is good. High Plains, Kansas soil, wheat, sorghum, sunflowers, grazing land for cattle. The growing season is about 160 days. Rainfall is marginal, 15 to 18 inches, so irrigation is necessary for most crops. But 320 acres. Think about what that means. Most beginning farmers are lucky to rent 40 acres. Most established farmers are still making payments on land they bought decades ago. Munda is offering you ownership of 320 acres for free. The financial value is staggering. At current Kansas farmland prices, which average around $2,000 per acre, that's $640,000 worth of land. Free. But it requires everything from you. One person doing this, a guy in his early 50s named Martin Voss, moved to Munda in 2019 from western Kansas, where he'd been renting land for 20 years. He took 240 acres, built a home from a prefab kit, drilled a well, installed solar panels and a generator backup, started a wheat and cattle operation. His blog post from year 4. I've never been more isolated, I've never worked harder, I've also never been more satisfied. This land is mine. Not leased, not mortgaged, mine. My kids, both in their 20s, are coming back to farm with me because there's actually something to come back to. We're building something that will outlast me, that wouldn't have been possible anywhere else. That's what Munda offers. Not convenience, not community, not easy. It offers legacy. If you want to build something that lasts beyond your lifetime, if you want land your children can inherit debt-free, if you want to farm on a scale that's actually economically viable, Munda is the only place in America offering that for free. But you pay for it in isolation, in difficulty, in years of your life you'll spend building instead of enjoying. The question isn't whether Munda's offer is good, it's whether you're capable of accepting it. Most people aren't. Most people, need services, need backup plans. But for the few who don't, for the people who are genuinely self-reliant and want maximum autonomy, Munda represents the final frontier. Free land, real scale, complete freedom. The American frontier never actually closed, it just moved to towns of 43 people that nobody's heard of. 10 towns, 10 very different versions of the same offer. Free land if you're willing to do something with it. Some of these places want farmers. Some want families. Some want anyone who'll show up and stay. But they all want the same thing. Proof that rural America isn't dying. Proof that people still value land ownership, self-reliance, and community. Every single one of these programs exists because a town looked at its future and decided to gamble on strangers. That's either inspiring or desperate, depending on how you look at it. But here's what matters. The land is real. The offers are real. The opportunities are real. The question is whether you are. Most people will watch this video, think it's interesting, and do nothing. That's fine. Most people aren't built for this. But some of you are. Some of you have been waiting for permission, for an opening, for someone to say it's possible. This is that. Free land exists, in 2025, in America, for people willing to work for it. What you do with that information is up to you.